I'll make you a bet. Right now, within 5 minutes of where you're sitting, there's a business losing money every single week to a problem you could fix with nothing but Claude and an afternoon. The gym that never follows up with the people who asked about a membership. The shop with an inbox so messy half the questions never get answered. They're not broke, they're leaking, and they would happily pay someone monthly to plug the leak. That someone could be you. You don't need to code, you don't need a team, and you don't need to have done it before. By the end of this video, I'll show you the one move that turns this idea into actual income, landing your first paying client with zero audience and zero portfolio. I'll save it for the right moment near the end because the 4 steps before it are what make it land. This is the full no-code playbook. Let's get into it. First, what an agency actually is. Everyone overcomplicates this word. Agency sounds like a glass office and 40 employees. Strip the costume off and it's painfully simple. An agency is just you solving a recurring problem for a business and getting paid every month to keep solving it. That's it. You're not building software, you're not inventing technology, you're the person who installs a solution inside someone else's business and maintains it. The business owner doesn't care how it works under the hood. They care that a headache they've had for years is suddenly gone. And that reframe matters because it means your job was never be a programmer. Your job is find a painful, repeatable problem and remove it. Claude handles the technical heavy lifting. You handle knowing which problem to solve and for whom, which leads straight into the only thing that decides whether this works. Step 1. Pick one boring problem to own. Here's where 90% of people sink before they swim. They try to be an everything agency. I do AI, automation, chatbots, content, websites, all of it. And because they're a blurry everything, they become a forgettable nothing. The move is the opposite. You pick one boring, specific problem that businesses already hate dealing with, following up with leads who went quiet, answering the same customer questions over and over, sorting and replying to a flooded inbox, turning a sales call into a written follow-up sequence. None of these are glamorous. All of them are worth real money because they quietly cost business owners hours every single week. Why boring? Because boring problems are everywhere. They're easy to explain, and nobody's fighting to solve them. When you walk up to a business and say, I fix your follow-up so no lead ever falls through the cracks, that's a clear, specific promise they instantly understand. Compare that to, I do AI solutions, which means nothing to a busy owner. The specific one gets a tell me more. The vague one gets ignored. So pick your one thing, the one that scares you least, because once you've got it, the next step is where Claude turns you into someone who can actually deliver it.
Step 2. Let Claude be your technical co-founder. This is the part that used to require a developer, and it's the reason most people never started. They assumed automation meant writing code. It doesn't anymore. Here's how it actually works. You don't write the system, you describe it. You open Claude and you talk to it like a sharp technical partner who's waiting for instructions. You say, in plain English, I want to build a follow-up system for a business. When a lead doesn't respond within 2 days, they should get a friendly check-in message. Walk me through how to set this up step by step and write the messages. And it lays out the plan and writes the pieces. The mistake to avoid, and this is the difference between an agency that lasts and one that embarrasses itself, is taking whatever Claude gives you and shipping it blind. You don't. You read it. You shape it. You make sure it actually fits the real business you're building it for. Claude is your technical co-founder, but you're still the founder. You own the final decision on what's good enough to deliver. Think of it like handing a master builder a blueprint. You're not laying every brick yourself, but you're the one who checks that the house is actually the one the client asked for. That partnership, your judgment plus Claude's execution, is the entire engine of a no-code agency. And once you can build the thing, you have to know what to charge for it. Step 3. Price it like a solution, not an hour. Here's where beginners quietly rob themselves. They think, it only took me 2 hours, so I'll charge for 2 hours. And they price a service that saves a business 10 hours a month at the cost of a cheap dinner. Stop pricing your time. Start pricing the outcome. A follow-up system that recovers even a handful of lost customers a month isn't a $40 job. To that owner, it's worth far more than what you dare to ask because it pays them back every single month it runs. And this is the beauty of the agency model specifically. You don't charge once, you charge monthly because you're maintaining the system, tweaking it, keeping it alive. One client who pays you a few hundred a month is worth more than 10 one-off projects you have to keep chasing. Land a small handful of those, and you've built something real, something that pays you whether or not you worked a ton of hours that week. Now, I can already hear the comment forming, why would a business pay monthly for something an AI does? Great question. And the answer is the whole point of the next step.
Step 4. Sell the result, not the tool. This is the honest truth most agency videos won't tell you. The business owner is not paying for Claude. They could technically go use it themselves. They're paying for the fact that they won't, and you will. People don't buy tools. They buy the result, delivered, without them having to think about it. A homeowner could technically learn plumbing. They pay a plumber, so they never have to. Same exact thing here. You're not selling access to an AI. You're selling your follow-up problem is handled forever, and you never have to touch it. The tool is invisible to them. The peace of mind is what they're buying. This is also why being honest wins you more business than hype ever could. When you sit down with an owner and say, look, this won't magically fix a weak offer, but it will make sure no interested lead ever gets ignored again, their brain relaxes. They think, this person isn't overselling me. They actually understand my business. That trust is what closes the deal and keeps them paying. Owners can smell a desperate pitch instantly, and they can smell a straight shooter just as fast. Be the straight shooter, and you've solved your attention problem before it starts. Which finally brings us to the part I promised you at the very beginning. Step 5. How to land the first client with nothing. This is the thing I told you about at the start. The first client. The step everyone is secretly terrified of because they think you need a portfolio, testimonials, and a following before anyone will pay you. You don't. You need one yes. Here's how you get it. You don't wait for clients to find you. You go to them, and you lead with value instead of a pitch. You find a small handful of local businesses whose problem you can clearly see. The gym that obviously never follows up, the shop with a chaotic inbox. And instead of saying, hire me, you say something honest and specific. I noticed leads probably slip through your follow-up. I build a system that fixes exactly that. I'd happily set up a simple version for you so you can see it work. That offer is almost impossible to ignore because it's not asking for trust you haven't earned yet. It's offering proof first. Do it for free or cheap for your very first one, on purpose, because that first client isn't about the money. It's about the testimonial and the case study that make the next 10 clients say yes faster. The first one buys your credibility. Everyone after that buys your time at a real price. And here's the part that turns a single client into an agency. Once you've solved that one problem for one business, you've also built a system you can reuse. The follow-up build you made for the gym works with small tweaks for the dentist, the salon, the contractor. You're not starting from zero each time. You're cloning a proven solution into a new business and getting paid again. That's the moment a hustle becomes a machine.
The real playbook, in one breath. Let me zoom out, because I don't want you to just copy these 5 steps. I want you to understand the game so you can run it forever. An AI automation agency was never about being technical. It's about spotting a boring, painful, repeatable problem, removing it with a tool that now does the hard part for you, and charging a business to keep it removed. The wall that used to stop you, I can't code, is gone. Claude is the technical partner you couldn't afford a year ago, and it works for pennies. And here's what's actually true about this moment. The agency keyword everyone's chasing has massive demand and surprisingly little real competition, because most people who hear AI automation agency still believe the lie that they need to be a developer. They scroll past. Again, you now know they're wrong. That gap between the people who believe the wall is real and the people who just walked through it is the entire opportunity, and it won't stay open forever. So here's your move. Pick your one boring problem this week. Use Claude to build the solution, and read it before you ship it. Price it monthly, sell the result, not the tool, and go land your first client by offering proof before you ever ask for payment. Because the truth nobody says out loud is this: the AI was never going to build your agency for you. You are. Claude just removed the only excuse you had left. So stop scrolling past the idea. Go be the person who actually starts.